Carolinas. The Carolinas, y'all. Yeah, man, I love this beach. It's one of the beaches I love. I always love water. You know, something about water I love. I always live around water or maybe airplanes. Maybe that's why I like to travel. You know what I mean? Because I love water. No matter where I am in the world, I love water. I love planes, you know. And I love airplanes. I love to fly. So, we're in the Carolinas, you know. It's a beautiful day out. We're on the beach. And we're doing the podcast. Yeah, so anyway, we're gonna talk about, man, today we're gonna talk about small towns. And what better to do it than in a small town like the Carolinas? My theory is like when it comes to like small towns, it's like some towns, man, it's like you have to be careful, you know? Like you really have to be careful. Especially when you are this color. Because, no, seriously, because it's dangerous. And people think like, most people think like you move somewhere, you move to a small town and, you know, you could just, you know, you looking for that come up. And you'll come up and everything. But in a lot of cases, it's true. Because that's what it's meant for. It's meant for a come up. It's meant to do your thing, you know what I mean? And then get up out there. But as far as just trying to live in the town and be in that town, I don't know. I don't, unless you from there, it's dangerous. You know, it's dangerous. You know, and I say that to say this because to me, it's almost like it's like a setup. It's like a trap. When people be moving to these small towns, mostly men, more men than women. Honestly, it's more trap for more men than women. Cause you move to these small towns that's European. You know, it's nothing but Europeans. You know, and they'll set you up real nice and say, hey baby, come on, you wanna move in? You wanna drive my car? You want something to eat? You wanna do this? Woo, 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 woo. Yeah. And they your best friend. You know what I mean? It's all good. It's all good and lovely. Next thing you know, you doing this, you doing that, busting your little moves. You know, next thing you know, you get caught up in something, you be in something. And it's dangerous. You know, it's real dangerous. And the only reason I'm saying something about hello, what's going on out there, y'all? I'm trying to kick it with you for a minute. Doing a little something different today. A little bit different. Today we're gonna talk about small towns, you know. And I'm talking about this because you know, I think that it's necessary, and I don't see a lot of people that be talking about it, you know, online, you know, about small towns. You know, I think it's good and bad, you know, about being in small towns. And I'm speaking more specifically on, like, you know, we're dealing with us people out there, young, because I see a lot of young people that be moving to these small towns. When I say young people, I mean younger than me, you know, 17, early 20s. And they be moving to these small towns, you know. And the reason why people move to these small towns, because for one, I know it's a come-up situation. You know, you be looking for a come-up out there. And you be trying to feel like, okay, you know, I'm going to move here. I'm going to bust my little move, do my little plays. And I'm going to, you know. But in reality, a lot of that stuff is dangerous. You know, it's dangerous because you don't know. You don't know what to expect. You know, you don't know what's going on. Like, and people just be, thinking like, I'm gonna move here, they'll do. But when they just, people, especially young people, and it's about like people just being targeted. People being targeted. I remember when I moved, I'm trying to think. I was young. I was just so eager, trying to do something positive, trying to be right, Didn't have a plan at the time, I didn't really have a plan, Well, actually I did have a plan. But I wanted to basically save some money and then get up out of there. That was my whole plan. But things change. I ended up doing other stuff. And that's where it comes into play. Because I think about people. Yeah, people out here that do, it just be dangerous. It's dangerous. It's really dangerous. Moving to these towns, and that's what people don't understand. If my contact can help somebody that's under me, if it can help them to learn from, anything that I've done in my past. Then this channel is alright, and that's really the goal that we're pushing, We're trying to elevate, moving to these small towns, man, they make it seem so easy. You go there, most of the towns is the European towns. Go there, make your little moves, and then you meet you a European woman. Next thing you know, it's all good because she gonna make everything so safe. You're not gonna want to leave. You're gonna want to just chill, do your thing, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna want to leave. Next thing you know, as soon as you tell her you want to leave, you're going to jail. Something happened. She magically become pregnant. Anything. You know what I'm saying? Like anything. And it's so dangerous. It's like, damn, why? Why? Yeah, it's so dangerous, and that's what people need to understand. And I'm only saying it because I see a lot of stuff online about these young dudes that be messing with these little chicks, and they be playing them out here, And it's the same freaking cycle. Nobody is talking about it enough. Nobody talking about it. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing and expecting different results. Straight up. You move to these towns and you trying to act the way you was when you coming from that big city, and they not playing with you. They not playing with you out here. Yeah, that's the problem. You know, if you move back in the day, if you moved to the suburbs, man, you're supposed to move to the suburbs to do something different. You know, be a different person. Reinvent yourself for the better part. Not necessarily coming out here, coming to a town just to be on the same thing you was doing in that city. You know? And that's the problem. So that's what I'm saying. So, I don't know, man. I think it's, and to speak, and to make it so, what's the word? You know, just in retrospect, let me just say this. It's not always the dude's fault or even the woman's fault that moved there. Because they make it so easy, and then you move to one of these little small towns, you know, you thinking it's sweet. You thinking it's all lovely, dovely, it's all wonderful. Until it's not. And it's not to discourage anybody from moving to a small town, but maybe it is. But you know, my advice, I was to save you the trouble. I wouldn't even do it unless you absolutely have to. You have no way out. You have nothing, and that's your only option. I just think people, you know, in my opinion, you take places like Atlanta, Georgia, for example. That's a city, a large city, but the population is more your people, right? But look what's in the city. You got black policemen, you got black mayors, you got black DAs, you got Tyler Perry with a whole studio. You know what I mean? In the city, so people move to these small, and I'm not talking about the older people, I'm talking about young people. Because older people, they move to a town because they want to retire and just live free and just live the rest of their days. I'm talking about young people that's in their 20s, early 20s, and they move to these small towns to turn up. Yeah. You move to these small towns because you want to turn up like you was turning up in that city. You can't do it like that. You just can't. Because you clearly seeing it. You know what's happening. And the crazy part is, when something happened, y'all just continues to stay right back in the town. Y'all just stay right back there. You can't do it like that. You know? Seriously. Man, it's just so... I feel so bad for some people. They just continue to do that. Upset the setup. You know what I mean? It's a setup. you can see it clearly. Or maybe you can't see it. I just happened to catch it when I was young and I moved to a town. And I was gone. But for the ones that's there and still in the towns and still over there, try to see it. Try your best to see it and catch it. Man. No, I just think that it's a little tragic. Another thing I want to talk about too, man, is like people that want to go to the small towns. You got a lot of guys, people out here in general, women too. And they try to move somewhere. It's not a false flag. That's what we used to say back in the day. We call it false flag. I get you want to reinvent yourself, but if you know you wasn't something, in your hometown, whatever city you came from, and then you move somewhere else, and you want to claim something. Cap. And I'm talking specifically to the ones that go out of town, move somewhere else, and all of a sudden you that person. You know what I'm saying? But you went back home, you was a little peon. You know what I'm saying? Like you wasn't doing nothing. But you want to move out of town, move out of state or whatever. And now you this guy or this girl or whatever. Stop the cap, man. Straight up. It's hip to be square, man, for real. Like my grandfather always said, it's hip to be square, man. You gonna move away, man. You're supposed to move away to make it work. Do something positive. Don't move away and go to another town and then cut up. But you really want about that in the city you came from. But you moved to a little European town, white town, whatever. God said, man, you should get the donkey of the day. For real, man, y'all doing too much out here, man. Yeah, man. And I know a few people, they may see this or they may not see it. I'm not gonna call their name because they know who they are. But anyway, don't try to move somewhere. They moved in one town. You want nothing growing up. You got a little confidence. Now you're a little older. You got a little confidence from that girl you chasing. You move to a different new state. Now you the man. Come on, man. That's misleading, man, especially if you over 30 out here. And you telling all the little homies, all the little guys, whoever, right, that you was this big dundada in your town, in your city, and they believe you. So now they trying to imitate and be what you is, or what they think you is. Make it make sense, man. It can make sense. That's why I said that's insane, man. You're supposed to be giving the little homies good game, man. Not trying to give them bad game. I remember when I moved to Tennessee, Memphis, and I met these dudes, and they told me, It was, they was from, I think, South Memphis somewhere. And they told me, we was just kicking it, hanging out. This is maybe about 10 years ago. And they said, hey, we're gonna go find some old lady purses to snatch. We're gonna go find some old lady purses to snatch. And that's what we do, we rob. I said, man, no, cause, okay, I think what it was, I was taking them somewhere. Cause they never been outside of their own hood in Tennessee, in Memphis. And I took them somewhere, to the casino. I said, you're not finna do that around me. I said, we gonna have a good time. We gonna do something different, do something else. She ain't finna do that around me. In life, what I've learned just off experience, being around people, either you gonna influence or be influenced. Either you gonna influence or be influenced. Either you gonna influence or be influenced. At that particular time, I was the one that influenced them. I mean, man, maybe 8 to 10 years older than them, but still. I definitely want for them to be out there snatching nobody's purses. I'm trying to rob nobody. So they end up coming over to my side. Now them brothers doing good, from what I know. They all family men for the most part. Imagine when I met them, I was a family man. It's just stuff like that, man. I don't think I never even told that story. Maybe once. But, yeah. That's what I mean when I say about moving to small towns. Move to small towns, man. Especially in these times, man. In these times when you're trying to teach the youth, when you're trying to teach your children, or teach your kids something. And you want to teach them something right. You want to teach them something right, you want to teach them something real. Yeah. It's hip to be square, man, for real. So my message is this, man. For those of you that watch our Instagram, that watch our podcast, you understand? All of you grown men and women over 30 that's out here in these small towns, like the homies say, stop giving the little homies bad game, man. For real. Stop moving to these small towns, trying to reinvent yourself when you know you wasn't that. Ain't nothing wrong with being a square. It's hip to be square. It's hip to be square. Nothing wrong with it. Move away. Do something real, man. And be careful, man, when you out here, because these small towns is dangerous. If you're gonna move to them, they are dangerous. I'm telling you. It can be detrimental to your health, physical, well-being. Seriously. If you are not careful. And that is a fact. That's all I want to say, y'all, man. This is just some brief, just to let people know, man, what's going on, how we feel about small towns, man. And like I said, I hope our show, hope you can learn something positive. You know, I hope we can enlighten and we can teach and preach. All right, y'all. Peace. Hello, can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? I just want to make sure that you can hear me, you know. See what I'm doing, see what I got going on. Can you see what I got going on? Can you see me? No. Can you see me? Can you see me, people? Can you hear me clearly? There we go. Okay.